My name is Decca Knight, and I am the owner of Blue Ridge Parenting and Consulting. I've owned this consulting company for about a decade, and have educated and consulted with over 2,000 parents. I'm also a licensed professional counselor, as well as a certified trauma specialist and a licensed professional school counselor. During this stressful time of us all being home with our kids, I thought that I would start this YouTube channel to give parents some quick and easy tips to being able to manage their emotions and their kids' emotions while we are all stuck together for months in our home. So what we're going to be doing is every few days I'm going to be showing you guys some different tips and tricks to help you manage all the stuff that's going on at home with you, and to make your experience with your family as enjoyable as possible. Sometimes when we're under stress, we kind of revert to the type of parenting that we don't want to do. And I want to help you kind of prevent yourself from going down that road. So tune in here to Blue Ridge Parenting and Consulting YouTube channel every few days, and we'll give you a few tips to help you and your family. So thanks, parents. Stay tuned. So today we are going to focus on something called mirror neurons. I could totally geek out over the neurobiology of the brain for an hour, but I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to talk to you guys for a few minutes about the importance of these neurons in parenting. So these mirror neurons are neurons that are in your brain, kind of up here behind your forehead. And what researchers have realized over the past decade is that these neurons are really, really important in the ways in which we interact with people around us. These neurons actually cause us to mirror the behaviors and the emotions or feelings of people that we are interacting with. So for instance, if I'm interacting with a boss, for instance, who's really, really angry with me, it's going to make me feel angry. If I'm interacting with a student who's really sad, it's going to make me feel sad. This is a biological response that we all have, regardless of the situation. Most of you guys have experienced your mirror neurons when you have an overwhelming emotion in response to the emotion of somebody that's in the room with you. And this comes into play a lot in parenting. For instance, if your kid, especially during this really stressful time, is getting overwhelmed and stressed out, and you're around them a lot, you're going to start feeling really overwhelmed and stressed out. Another good example of mirror neurons is yawning. When somebody yawns, we automatically yawn. That's mirror neurons. Another good example is if we walk into a room and there's a bunch of people laughing over in the corner, and then we start to feel joy, although we have no idea what they're laughing about. So mirror neurons are this biological response to the people and the environment around us. So let's say that your child during this time is getting really stressed out, and they have expressed some of their stress through anger towards you. And they're lashing out at you, maybe saying some unkind things. It's very normal for us to want to yell back or get upset back at them, because that's our mirror neurons. But what we have to do as the adults in the situation is always be what we call the bigger, wiser, stronger mirror. And what that means that if our kid is upset with us or overwhelmed with us in some way, we need to be as calm as we can, because our mirror neurology informs their mirror neurology. So the way that we are acting, how our voice sounds, the tone of our voice should be calm. How our face looks, our face should be calm. All of these things mirror back to our child. This is why if we're in an argument with a child, or we're fighting with a child, and they're yelling at us and we yell at them and they yell back, and it's kind of like this dance that gets really unhealthy. So especially during this time, we have to have really good, healthy mirror neurology for our kid and be what we call that bigger, wiser, stronger mirror. And that can help our kids to be calm as well. Now, I know that this can be really hard, guys, during this really stressful time, because we're super stressed. So how can you always be that bigger, wiser, stronger mirror for your kids? The best way to do that is if you feel yourself getting overwhelmed, try to take a break. Go outside, take a walk around your lawn, go and take a bath, go listen to some music that you love, whatever you need to do to be that bigger, wiser, stronger mirror, so that you don't kind of perpetuate this cycle of stress and overwhelming feelings for you and your family. I'm actually going to put some links about mirror neurons below this video, and you can learn more about them and read more about them if you'd like. And also we're going to do an example of mirror neurons and how they affect your interactions with other people. Okay, so this here's my son, and what we're going to do is we are going to do an example of mirror neurons and what they look like in a situation that's a healthy situation and then an unhealthy situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my son here, Sullivan, to just talk to me like he normally talks to me. Why don't you tell me, Sullivan, about some things that you really enjoy?
Okay, well, I enjoy pranking people on April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day.
Which is today.
Just today.
And I also like painting and talking with my friends and listening to music on the bus.
Yeah, okay, so those are some of the things that you really enjoy. Okay, so you noticed when we were just talking that I was using my mirror neurology to respond to him. I was nodding, I was saying some things to let him know that I was listening to him. An example of mirror neurology that is kind of skewed or possibly not being responsive enough is going to be this next section. So I'm going to ask Sullivan again to speak to me about the things that he's enjoying, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to have something called a still face. And a still face means that I'm not going to move my face much, and we're going to see kind of how that goes. So go ahead, Sullivan.
Okay, well, I like pranking people on April Fool's Day, painting, socializing with friends, and listening to music on the bus.
Okay, so how was that, Sullivan, when I wasn't really reacting to you and my face was still? How did it feel?
It felt like you just like out in space. You were either really mad at me, or something I said that really annoyed you, or it's like when you have night terrors, which your eyes are open but you're actually sleeping.
Okay. So that experience was a lot different for Sullivan. There's actually research out there that's been going on since the 70s on mirror neurons. It's the still face video, kind of what we just demonstrated for you. So I'll also put the link to those videos down below so that you can see the still face video. But the important part, guys, is that you have to mirror, again, how you want your children to act, especially during these stressful times. And you being overwhelmed and yelling and getting really stressed out is only going to make your kids more stressed out. They don't have the ability to control their mirror neurology as well as we can. So let me give you an example. Let's say that I was sitting in my office at work and my boss walked in and my boss started screaming at me. Our natural response under those circumstances would be that we would start to feel maybe warm, our muscles would get tense, we would start to feel angry, and that's because our boss is yelling at us. So we are mirroring his angry emotions. The thing is that I know I can't yell back at my boss. So I, as an adult, have learned ways to keep my mirror neurons in check. So I can calm myself down, okay, and respond to my boss in a respectful way, even though he's not being respectful to me. But the only reason I can do that with my mirror neurons, guys, is because I'm an adult. And I've had years and years of practice of being calm when people are not calm. It's very different for kids. Their mirror neurology is just as sensitive as ours, and they don't have the coping skills to be able to be that calm when somebody is being overwhelming with them. So watch the videos and read the links below for more information about mirror neurons, and try to start being that bigger, wiser, stronger mirror for your kids. Thanks, guys.